Most men believe they are building a career, when they are actually just financing a slow, comfortable surrender. They enter the market with a singular illusion that if they input enough compliance, the system will output freedom. They collect the steady salary. They accept the comfortable title. They rely entirely on a single source of income to validate their survival. But security is the ultimate high-yield trap. The modern economy does not buy your labor. It buys your dependency. It sets a price on your time that is high enough to keep you coming back, but low enough to ensure you can never afford to leave. An insecure man is predictable. A man with a single paycheck and a mountain of monthly overhead is incredibly easy to manage. He will sit through meetings he despises. He will execute decisions he disagrees with. He will quietly swallow his integrity, because his mortgage, his car lease, and his social appearance depend entirely on permission from a single room. This is not safety. This is economic captivity wearing a corporate badge. You have been trained to fear the volatility of the market, while completely ignoring the lethal vulnerability of relying on one man's signature to feed your family. If you have only one stream of income, you are exactly one unexpected decision away from total financial insolvency. True wealth does not begin with accumulation. It begins with sovereignty. The moment you realize that dependency is a mathematical crisis, the curtain drops. You stop playing to fit into a system, and you start playing to survive it. You confuse the illusion of stability with the reality of control. A bridge held up by a single pillar is not stable, it is fragile. When that pillar cracks, the entire structure collapses. Let us look at the raw mechanics of how financial sovereignty is actually built. It requires 4 distinct strategic shifts to move from a dependent asset to an independent operator. Shift 1. The trap of the single pillar. The corporate landscape thrives by keeping you specialized and isolated. They want you to master one highly specific task inside their machine because it makes you incredibly efficient for them and entirely useless to anyone else. Consider the historical example of the Roman patrician class during the late Republic. Many wealthy Romans invested their entire fortunes into single massive grain estates in Sicily, relying wholly on state-protected shipping lanes. When political instability or piracy disrupted those specific lanes, these elite families were bankrupted overnight. They had massive paper wealth, but zero diversification and zero operational control over their own survival. The modern employee is making the exact same structural error. You trade 40 hours of your finite vitality for a single monthly deposit. You are running a business with only one client. If that client cancels the contract, your business goes under. A sovereign individual treats their primary job not as a permanent destination, but as a venture capital firm. You use their salary to fund your own independence. You use their infrastructure to master skills that scale outside of their walls. Shift 2. The multiplication of high-leverage skills. You have been taught to trade raw time for money, but time is a non-renewable asset. If your income is strictly linear, tied entirely to the physical hours you log at a desk, you are losing a game where the rules are rigged against your lifespan. To break the ceiling, you must develop asymmetric leverage, skills that can be packaged, distributed, and monetized without requiring your physical presence to execute every single time. Writing, system design, media production, digital architecture. A single piece of high-leverage intellectual property can work for you 24 hours a day while you are sleeping, while you are eating, And while you are working your primary job, it does not ask for permission. It does not require a corporate performance review. Shift 3. The taming of the overhead. Most men ruin their leverage the moment they receive it. When income increases, they immediately scale their lifestyle to match. They buy the larger home, lease the premium vehicle, and subscribe to more expensive distractions. They call it a reward for their hard work. In reality, they are simply building a higher wall around their own cage. They increase the baseline cost of their survival, which means they must remain compliant to their single income source for another 10, 20, or 30 years. The Stoic philosopher Seneca observed this exact human pathology among the wealthy elite of Rome. He wrote, "We are in the habit of saying that certain men amuse themselves with hunting, but they are really hunted." Look at your overhead honestly. Do you own your possessions? Or does the debt required to maintain them own you? Every unnecessary dollar you shave off your monthly baseline is a dollar that can be deployed into buying back your time. Shift 4. The transition from worker to asset owner. The final shift is moving your capital out of depreciating lifestyle assets and into productive, sovereign assets. You do not buy objects to perform success for strangers. You buy equities, you buy real estate, you build digital assets, and you buy intellectual properties. You optimize for cash flow and equity, not for applause. A disciplined man understands that real wealth is silent. It sits quietly in diversified accounts, producing small, consistent streams of capital that gradually erode his dependency on any single employer. When you have 3, 4, or 5 small streams of income feeding your baseline survival, your psychological relationship with the world changes permanently. You are no longer a hostage to fear. You can walk into any room, negotiate any deal, or walk away from any toxic environment because your survival is no longer up for negotiation. You begin by reclaiming the currency of your attention. Stop selling your evenings to entertainment algorithms that profit from your passivity. The time required to build your fortress already exists. It is currently being dissolved in the hours between 5 and 9 p.m. The system relies on your exhaustion. It counts on you being too tired to think, too distracted to plan, and too anxious to risk changing your position. It wants you to look at your financial life as a series of consumer rewards rather than a strategic terrain of warfare. The curtain has been raised. The math of your dependency is right in front of you. So, I leave you with a final calculation. Look at your current financial structure and answer this question in complete silence. If the single room that controls your primary income decided to erase your position tomorrow morning, would you be a free man standing on your own foundation, or a hostage realizing too late that you have built your entire life on rented ground? The market does not reward hesitation. Turn off the screen, examine your ledger, and decide who owns your time.